We're live. Hello. Welcome to my group. Hope everybody's having a blast. I haven't seen anybody on yet, so we're going to just party by ourselves for a couple minutes. So today we're going to be talking about social media and all of the amazing stuff that you need to know to be successful on social media, because as business owners, coaches, speakers, all that kind of stuff, and we're working on our books, we have a lot of hats that we have to wear. We have a lot of things we have to do. So you want to make sure that you're making the most of the time that you have to, be posting the right stuff, saying the right things, doing the right things, using the right hashtags, which I don't know why hashtags seems to be like a mystical, magical thing. I see a lot of funny ones, but I don't often see serious ones. So I thought we should talk about this today and help demystify hashtags along with all the other fun stuff about social media. So we've got a couple people on. So let me introduce my friend Dominique Murray, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then we're going to jump into some of the questions that I had. If you guys have questions along the way, you can of course post them in the comments and we will answer them. So welcome, Dominique. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so I grew up with technology and social media pretty much at my fingertips. And in high school, I really, that's when I found my passion for photography. And going into college, I was going to school for photography, and I started posting my portfolio on social media. And I was doing all of these marketing tips that I didn't know wasn't common knowledge. I was doing things that subconsciously I was telling myself, like, oh, if I post it this time and use this many hashtags like you're talking about and do this, and this, way more people are going to see it and I'm just going to grow. And I did continuously. So my sophomore year of college, I was actually working for a donut shop a few minutes away from my house. It just opened, and the owner said, how are we going to get out there? How are we going to get our name out there? And I was sitting at the table with them, and I was like, social media, like, duh, just make a Facebook, make an Instagram, and you'll be fine. And over the course of the year, we gained a couple thousand likes on our Facebook page, and our Instagram page was growing and growing and growing. And then one thing led to the next, and I had some internships, and I kept doing social media for those, and then I built my own company as I built up my photography business as well. So it's been a journey.
That's awesome. As somebody who did not grow up with technology, some of my first experiences were with Oregon Trail. So that was the 5th grade.
Best game ever. That was my favorite. But God.
Yeah, my husband and I actually drove past a street in the South Hills of Pittsburgh yesterday that said Oregon Trail, and I was like, we know that. Don't run that street. We will die of dysentery.
I think I played that in the 7th and 8th grade. That was our treat. I remember that clear as day.
Well, that was how we got kind of indoctrinated into computers are safe and it's okay to touch them, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you grew up with this and you're so comfortable, because I have a bunch of questions and I'm sure everybody else watching does. So I do want to jump right in here with talking about what social media platforms authors with business books should stick with, because there are just so many out there, and I know some are super fun, some are confusing. So if somebody is just getting started, or if they're just looking at the list and going, oh my God, I love my Facebook personal page, but I don't know what else to do, what would you say to start out with?
Well, I think just as general advice, you're probably not going to master everything. So don't be hard on yourself if maybe you're doing really well on Instagram and you're not doing so great on Pinterest, or if your LinkedIn is soaring and your Facebook page is kind of some good days and some bad. It's not, there's so many different rules and lessons to follow with each platform that it's a lot of information, genuinely. And like you're saying, you're business owners, you're writing books, you're probably doing speaking engagements, you're trying to stay on top of your marketing. You can't do everything. You're one person. So I think as an author, you need to look at where is your audience going to be. So for example, for my own business, I photograph high school seniors a lot. And I can post on Instagram knowing that a lot of high school students are on Instagram constantly. It's not just about targeting the parents, about the kids too. With social media, I don't really use Instagram as much when I'm talking about my classes and stuff. I actually tend to stick to Facebook more because I know that I'm reaching women and guys, men, probably about the age of 30 that need help in the area. So whatever your audience is for your book and where you think they would fall is where you should try to perfect it. Using your personal Facebook page is always going to get you great traction. Business pages are valued. So when you start to use a Facebook business page, just know that you're probably very rarely going to get the same amount of traction as a personal page. Facebook groups like this one are phenomenal because it's all about your interaction count. Instagram, again, is your audience really on there? Are you going to be able to promote your book through there? Are you trying to take the book into speaking engagements? Are companies going to be able to find you when you're tagging them? LinkedIn is great because it's all B2B. It's really not about the personal stuff. It really is all about business. Pinterest, if you have a website that can pair with your book and you can send out little snippets and articles and give away little freebies, great. TikTok is hard because it's new, so a lot of people are struggling, and it's all about content. So that's a matter of time. Do you have enough time to be creating TikToks every day to pair with your book? What am I missing? Twitter, I think is great for authors with business because it's all factual information. Twitter is actually considered a news platform now instead of a social media platform. So that is definitely something that is changing and evolving. Their stock plummeted October of last year, and it just took like a total flip from what it used to be. So I think one thing that people also don't look at is Snapchat. So if you're trying to target maybe younger entrepreneurs like myself with your book, we're on Snapchat all the time. And I think people forget about that, and that people don't even think about that as a marketing avenue. So really it's about where is your target audience going to be and what platform are they using the most so that when you are posting this content, you're reaching them.
Okay. Yeah, that all makes sense. I was actually going to ask about Snapchat and TikTok because I've seen, it seems like a lot of people have been trying to push that just kind of during this downtime where a lot of people have more time on their hands because they were like, oh, try this. And I've been looking at it like, I don't want to touch anything else.
Yep.
That's not really where my people are anyway. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could put in, if you had 100 hours and your target audience is on Facebook, why would you spend even 25 hours on a platform that you're not going to really reach anybody?
Right. Okay. Awesome. So as far as like posting about, like I said, most of the people in here are speakers and coaches, so they are posting about their own business. But now all of a sudden we're doing a book as well with the business. So as people are writing about the book, I always tell them, start posting about your book, start telling everybody you're working on your book. How often should they be doing that? Should it be like I know I don't want to be slammed in the face every day with, hey, I'm doing this. Like, how often would you recommend it? And is there a way you can, instead of, being like slamming people in the face, is there a way that you would recommend that people can kind of say, hey, I'm doing this and I'm excited about it, and get other people excited about it?
I think there's two-part answer to that question. The first one is there is a general rule for that, and it's called the 411 rule. I talk about it in my workbook.
Okay.
And basically it's about learning how to split up your posts to be advertisement and also as well as a touch of like what you're saying is you don't want to be slammed in the face every single day about this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm doing. Yeah. So if you're looking at a business page, the 411 rule would be something about 4 different posts about something your business is doing, even articles that are related to, I could, for photography, I could post an article about the best locations to take pictures in Pittsburgh, the top 10 senior poses, things like that. And then after you hit those 4 posts, the next one is going to be the sale. So it helps people, build anticipation, because you're saying, look at all these things for senior photos, or look at all these things for the book that I'm creating. And then that last post is, hey, by the way, look at this book that I have, and you can have this, and you can be a part of this. Or, oh, look, I'm selling these senior sessions, and this could be you in this picture at this location. The second part for using it is more, if you're trying to bridge between business and personal, there's like such a fine line. As you probably know, you're not really going to see a lot of negative stuff on most social media platforms. Everyone's talking about their accomplishments and the great things that they have going on in their life, which is fine. It's supposed to be a happy space. That is where you personally need to decide, how many times a week am I going to post about this? And whatever you do, just stay consistent with it. I would not recommend posting about it every day, maybe once or twice, but just make sure that if that's what you're going to do, get yourself into the habit of, okay, every Tuesday at 5 p.m., I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make a post on every platform that I'm on about my book or my next speaking engagement or my next workshop, whatever that may be.
Okay. And I know I had mentioned briefly when we were talking before about the personal versus the business page, and you brushed over that a little bit, with the business page not getting very much attention. So I see a lot of people talking about their business on the personal page, and I know I do it too a little bit. There are some people that I feel like I don't even want to read their stuff, because all they talk about is that one thing that they are selling. So I'm glad you did talk a little bit about that too. But as far as like your personal page, is it okay to be on there talking about what we're doing? Is there like a rule about selling on there? Because I've heard that there are rules about selling on our personal page, like on Facebook.
Yeah. So in the general sense, it's okay. You're not supposed to put links actually that lead to external Facebook sources. So like you're not supposed to link to your website and stuff. They're not gonna like ban you from Facebook, but they will show it to less people. So that is a general rule of thumb. So if you're trying to sell something, don't put the link in the caption, put it in the comments, which I know I saw you did earlier for this group actually. And again, just touching on, so you're saying how I see all these things about the business and like I don't even want to read it and I'm already scrolling past it. That's where our personal pages, and I would say the same thing about if you have a business Instagram page, that would be the equivalent of your story. This is where you can really bridge the gap of showing your audience who you are as a person. They're looking at you as a business owner and an author and a speaker, but you're also a mom and you have kids and you like drawing and painting or whatever it may be. And they want to see that because it helps create an emotional connection. And we're going to work with people that we know, like, and trust. So if they can trust you because they see everything that you have going on in your business and your personal life, it's going to be that much easier to get the sale, to get the next speaking gig, to sell out on that book. So that, yeah, general rule of thumb is just don't put the links to whatever you're trying to sell into the caption. And if you are going to put your business stuff on there, try to keep it to like your accomplishments, the next big things that you have coming, and make sure that you bridge that gap of this is who I am as a person, but also this is what I'm doing with my business.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good rule to keep. I know I get a lot of people who I haven't personally met, like adding me as a friend, and that's the first thing I do is go down through their page and see what do they post. And if all they're showing is I sell shoes, I sell shoes, I sell shoes, then yeah, you're not going to add value to my feed.
Well, and that's when we're looking at Instagram. I actually have 2 Instagrams. I have a personal one and a business one, just because my business page is strictly my portraits. There's like, I think there's 1 photo of me and 2 behind the scenes photos. But there's like very, very minimum. But if you flip through my stories on Instagram, on the other hand, you're gonna see my cat, you're gonna see me and my parents joking around, playing cornhole in the backyard, I'm gonna be shopping or whatever else, and that's where I can connect with them, is through the story without breaking the look of all of my work.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten as into my Instagram. I don't post on there very often, and I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. So okay, so posting, we can post like just a regular post and then also do stories on there, and that's the stuff that stays, that anyone can flip through at any time.
So there's a couple different things. I actually have my phone in front of me. So when you're on your feed, there's a couple different options. I'm going to just show you guys mine. Let me turn the brightness down. This is, well, maybe I got to turn it down a little bit more. This is the actual feed here.
Okay.
So up in here. When you're on the home page, across the top, my goodness, it's so bright, all the stories. And then you can add little highlights right here that allow your story to stay permanent. So when it's on your feed, it's permanent. When it's on your story, it's typically 24 hours. However, when you go in and add that little highlight button, it will make it so that people can flip through them on your page. So I have 162 posts that are permanent. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have like 7 or 8 little highlights that show behind the scenes, my publications, people getting their hair and makeup done, where I've traveled for shoots, as well as my story right now, which is actually the picture of us saying, come and join us.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think I got a few things mixed up there. So I'm glad you're here to straighten us out. Okay. All right. So there are a lot of different options on Instagram as well. So that's awesome. Okay. So let's talk about this has been one of my challenges as an author, especially before I started really pushing my business stuff, my coaching and editing and everything. I'm not somebody who's doing something that is exciting to watch. I am a writing coach. So if you have a picture of me coaching someone, it's like, or a picture of me typing, it's about the same, except I look probably like I'm thinking. What sort of things should we be posting? Because I know that like photos get more engagement, video gets more engagement. What would you recommend for if we're sharing about our book? Should we be doing a certain type of photo or video, or what would you think about that one?
So I think part of what you're like kind of referring to indirectly is just making sure that you're on brand with everything. So 9 times out of 10, not sponsored, this is not endorsed, but I like send everybody to Canva. That way you can add your colors around the pictures, you can add your fonts, you can add different little effects and stuff. Video does better than photo does better than just plain text. That's just on pretty much all platforms. We're going to say that is the very general rule of thumb: video and then photo and then plain text. When you're looking, if you're going through and choosing photos, stock photos aren't bad. Obviously, it's best if it's like candid and in the moment. But when you are going for stock photos, make sure that they're not cheesy, I guess, like canned. You don't want that very, here is my whatever I'm doing. You want them to feel very natural. If you do go onto Canva, for anybody who's watching, it's free and they have thousands and thousands of free photos. So I would just stick to pictures that look on brand and that feel real. If you're looking at the photo and you're like, I don't know, somebody else is probably also going to be thinking that. So invest in, and I'm not just saying this as a photographer, this is like also my media marketing side, invest in photos of yourself, of you with other people, of you with your product, and don't be afraid to ask your friends or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or whoever that may be, hey, can you take a picture of me while I'm doing a cartwheel out back, and you post it, and then your caption is related to like doing cartwheels for days, trying to get rid of the excitement and the energy that I have, or whatever, you know, so full of joy right now that I'm doing cartwheels in the backyard because my book is getting released tomorrow. I think there should be a combination of the stock photos and the actual real you.
Okay. Right. I know I usually use a lot of stock photos because I don't typically have my hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
I also don't do cartwheels. So like I said, most of the stuff, it's been very, you know, me at my desk, me at my desk, me at my desk. And I know that gets old. So I do a lot of stock photos. So that's good to know. I am doing more of the more fun pictures. In fact, I posted earlier, I met up with Dominique yesterday. We did a nice branding shoot. It was very exciting and fun. And it was like, I finally did this, you know, like a big accomplishment. So I'm going to have a lot of really good photos to use.
It's an investment to go through something like that. I mean, those photos are something that's going to help you stand out. And it's going to make it, it's like taking it to the next level. It really is. You know, you go from this phone photo or this photo that your friend took of you and you're really getting the full blown deal. So I think marketing photos are just so important. That's how you catch people's attention. And if you can even do, I know on Canva, there's the option to add like little motions. You know, even if you add that motion and all of a sudden it becomes like a GIF instead of just a still photo. I mean, that's a GIF is technically a video taking you up for that viewer count. So I literally could talk about this section for like hours, but yeah, so there's so many options.
Yeah. I know you mentioned about like cheesy stock photos not looking good. Are there any other things that we should watch out for? Like I know lighting and sound are good, you know, things to watch for on videos. Like what would you have to say about things to watch for?
Yeah, don't just pull images off of Google. I have had friends who have posted something and it ends up in a Google search and then a person pulls it and then, I mean, it's a copyright issue. So just, you don't want to get into that trouble. You don't want to have to go through that hassle. I've watched my friends take people to court over it because it's been used, the image has been used so many times and they're not paying the fee. So look for good lighting, look for consistent editing. When it comes to what kind of photos you're using, don't have this really like dark, moody photo on Monday, and then Tuesday you have this like super bright, white, airy, like whimsical kind of photo. So if you are going the stock photo route, make sure that everything looks similar. Again, it's going to help you stand out. Social media is really loud and noisy. So when people can see that same style of edit over and over and over again, they're going to start to associate it with you.
Okay. And as far as like doing our own photos and videos, like you said about the cartwheel in the backyard, is there anything that you would tell people, hey, make sure you don't do this, or make sure you do this?
Yeah. If you have the ability to invest in a ring light, I would definitely do that. There's many ones that you can like attach to your laptop. I actually have one behind me. It's on like a small stand. Make sure that there's not any like blotchy spots from, like if you're standing underneath a tree through the leaves, you get those sunspots. So try to make sure that you're very evenly lit. The best time if you're trying to do some sort of portrait is actually when it's overcast or like early in the morning, late at night, because the sun isn't as harsh, so your skin won't look blown out. You won't get any crazy highlight lines. And if you're doing photos, avoid, unless it goes with your brand, try to avoid neon colors. Green tends to reflect on skin. And then just work on things that complement yourself. So I know this color is my color and this is what I wear like everywhere. All of your outfits yesterday were phenomenal. They complemented your eyes and your skin tone. So just make sure that everything is flattering for you.
Okay, awesome. Those are really, really good tips. Thank you. Okay, so I want to move a little bit toward hashtags now.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about hashtags in general? How do we figure out like what's appropriate, what's going to get the right audience's attention? Because obviously if I'm just being silly and making up hashtags, nobody's going to be searching for that stuff. So I want to make sure that like I'm actually typing the correct thing.
Yes.
Let's just start with that.
Yeah, so there's different types of hashtags. There's trending hashtags, which is what you're going to see people using over and over and over again. And there are also smaller like keywords, so like hashtag love, hashtag kindness, hashtag COVID, for example. Those are all smaller trending words, but then you also have the in the moment trending words of like when the Super Bowl is happening or when whatever, the Penguins are winning the Stanley Cup kind of thing. We have the non-trending hashtags, which are those quirky ones that you're talking about that people aren't necessarily following, but they are there and they do exist. Probably talking, I would say non-trending for me, anything under probably 5,000 posts is going to be non-trending. And then you also have your branded hashtag, which is going to be your company hashtag. This can be one of two things. This could be hashtag Dominique Murray photography for me, or this could be hashtag social secrets revealed, or it could be my tagline, so hashtag mastering the media market. To work back on that list, the reason that you use your branded hashtags is so that if somebody searches for your brand, you're going to pop up profile wise and also hashtag wise, so that you have a compiled small area of everything that you've done. When you do the non-trending, it's going to be for people who are looking for very specific things, and they took to social media for those very specific things. It can also involve, just making somebody laugh with something quirky that you came up so that it grabs their attention and they're more likely to respond to it. The trending hashtags is how you're really going to gain a following. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert to a sale, but it is very, very huge for brand awareness and getting your name out there.
Okay. So I was wondering about this one. How many hashtags are appropriate? Because I've seen people just put like 3 or 4, and I've seen people who look like they've invested their life in hashtags. And I don't think either of those is really the way to go. Like, what is the
happy medium?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on Instagram, you should use 30 hashtags. And I know that seems like a lot, but I will pop into the comments and give this website. There is a website called all-hashtag.com.
Okay. That's one of the questions.
Yeah, it will generate all the hashtags for you. All you do is you type in a keyword, and then so I could even put in hashtag, or you don't put the hashtag, you just put the word. So portrait. You have top random, and then I always do top, I hit generate, and it will generate 30 of the top hashtags and then related hashtags for me. I don't use all 30. So I encourage you to pick and pull from that list when you're this Instagram specific, pick and pull from that list, add your branded hashtag and add some non-trending hashtags that are specific to that photo and what you're trying to sell, or if you're trying to gain a following, and compile your list of 30. Some of my clients, we have in a Google Doc, just pages of different hashtags that relate to different things that they're constantly working on. So that when we do post a photo, we go in and copy all of those hashtags that are related to the kitchen sink, that are related to the Tequila Tuesday, that are related to this, related to that, and it gets pushed in. On Facebook, it's totally different. The most views that you're going to get is if you use one hashtag, but I recommend up to 7. That's kind of the golden number for Facebook. People do follow hashtags. If they're interested in photography and book writing and becoming an author, they're going to follow all of those keywords. So if you use 7, you're at that happy medium of you're not bombarding Facebook, it's not going to decrease your views, and you're actually going to be increasing your viewership by having those 7 there. Pinterest, give or take, probably I would do 20. Twitter's hard because your captions are so limited. Maybe try for 3 or 4. It's just that, it's, I don't know, I'd actually say probably 2 to 4. You have like 200 some characters, so you can't put 30 hashtags in there. You just can't. Not feasible. And then LinkedIn, I'd say anywhere from like 2 to 10, depending on the article.
Okay. And you were saying that you use different hashtags for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not like me as a business owner doing my book, I'm not going to have the same 10 hashtags that I'm doing for every single thing that I post.
Yeah, so you can have a core list of like, I want to include these 10 every single time because they're related to me. And then the other ones are going to like vary and alternate based on what the post is.
Okay. And then my other question was, are there certain hashtags that we should just avoid because your stuff is just going to get buried and it's really pointless to use them?
Yeah, so that's actually a really, really good question. Some of those smaller trending words that I was talking about, like hashtag love, hashtag kindness, things like that, I tend to stay away from just because so many people, like what you're saying is, they post a picture about their wedding and their cat and themselves and their brother and whatever else. And when you open up that hashtag, it's like, what am I even looking for?
Right. Okay.
So try to, I'm not saying that you can't use them, but try to avoid those ones.
Okay. Okay, so
much information, I know.
yeah, I'm trying to process everything. Like, I think I got all the questions in that I want to ask. Yeah, the hashtags thing, it's just always like, it seems like it's a constant changing thing too. Because I'll see some people just using silly ones, and then other people are like, this is my set, and I'm going to die with this set of hashtags. So, which is probably a hashtag itself. So I think, well, we've already talked like half an hour about this. So let's go ahead and kind of wrap it up. Are there any other important things that you want to make sure that we know as authors who are putting out books related to our business about our social media presence?
I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is just consistency. Whatever you're going to do, just stay consistent with it. If you don't really want to work on your social media and you know that your in-person sales are great or whatever, if you're on email route, Amazon route, whatever that is for you, just be consistent. If you're only going to post once a week, just post once a week. If you're going to be on there 7 days out of the week, bless your soul that you have so much content, but post 7 days a week. And just find a pattern that works for you. It's all trial and error. You're never, I shouldn't say never, but the odds that you're going viral off that first post that you do are like, it's so slim. And people have this mindset that they're just going to gain thousands of followers overnight. So it's a learned skill. It takes practice. It's trial and error, and just be consistent with everything that you're doing.
Okay. Fantastic advice. Thank you. So where can people find you? I know I follow you, and I want everybody else to be able to follow you too. You have a Facebook group. You just tell us a little bit about that, and then you can post the links to that stuff in the comments too.
Yes. So my Instagram is instagram.com/Murnug, MURR_NUGG. That was my high school nickname, and I'm sticking with it. I have my personal Instagram page as well. If you want to see what I'm up to, you can add me on Facebook here. I have Facebook business pages for both of my businesses, Dominique Murray Photography and Social Secrets Revealed. And then I also have a private Facebook group, Social Secrets Revealed Media Hotline. So basically you can go in and ask questions. On Friday, we help promote one another's businesses. And I go live, I give out different applications, things like that. And I'm also on LinkedIn, so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll put the links in the comments. If you guys are watching this on replay, if you have questions, comments, go ahead and put them in, and Dominique or I will try to answer them. Thank you so much for joining me, and everybody has a great day.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Bye.